one could.
You said, how would you name a water type gorilla though? I feel like there's ways you can figure it out, right? We gotta think of just a water term that can flow well with Florilla. Florilla! Florilla! Right? Sounds like a rapper name. Glorilla. There we go. And he's showing.
Hollywood ever pulled was convincing the world that gorillas were something to be scared of. Whole time it's an ADHD Uber ape built like a practical joke. The gorillini is the opposite of a sleeper build.
I've always been a fan of gorillas.
The most unserious animals on
I mean,
almost every character trait.
Like, let's be like, they big and strong, so like they look cool, right? But like, you know, when I watched them, whenever I watched them Planet of the Apes movies, hey, them gorillas was tough. Whenever a gorilla showed up, I knew they stood on business, and they sure did, you know? And then, like, I remember there was the clip of the gorillas jumping on the helicopters and shit. I remember when King Kong came out, that long-ass movie, I was hyped because King Kong, right? What y'all know about Mighty Joe Young? Do we got any Mighty Joe Young watchers in the chat? Because I remember I had Mighty Joe Young on freaking VHS. I love me some gorillas. Kerchak, the gorilla in Tarzan. Now that gorilla, he was an asshole. Fuck him. He was an asshole. And he was racist to Tarzan.
Made them feared back in the day actually makes them adorably ridiculous when you have context. Like you've seen this picture, a gorilla beating its chest and maybe you next has to be one of the most intimidating sights in nature. The sound though.
That's what it sounds like?
Edited. Whole time this display sounds like an assault on bubble wrap. King Kong had you misunderstood. Only
yeah.
You see this and hear the god.
Yo, this whole time I thought it was like legitimate chest pounds. It sounds like bubbles. Like you shoot like you shoot Piplup use bubble beam. Like that's what it sounds like.
Be one of the most intimidating sights.
Run that back.
The sound though.
That's bubble beam.
That was not edited. Whole time this display sounds like an assault on bubble wrap. King Kong had you misunderstood.
Maybe we need a water type that's just a gorilla.
It's more like someone weaponizing bubble tea in a straw. Put on a blindfold and it's not threatening anybody but Bubble Buddy, because it sounds like his family flatlined by firing squad. It's fitting. It was widely believed that the peg pounding was considered.
I just can't believe it's not. Yeah, that sounded like an edit. That don't sound like legit.
Conflict altogether. In a study done by Edward Wright of the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology in Germany, it was found that the biggest, most brolic mountain gorillas actually produce the sounds with the lowest frequency. Something about larger air sacs near the larynx, but it's considered an honest signal of competitive ability, and between two prime apes, the one with the higher frequency flesh tap might just tap out of a fight before it happens. So the chest beating actually allows smaller gorillas to avoid a fight they'd almost certainly lose, and lets gorillas choose the best option, since bigger males tend to be the first choice for intercourse. That's gonna be
they want a big, strong gorilla.
We'll get to that bridge. The other thing that apparently terrified early explorers into introverts was their jaw work. Gorillas have top 5 most inappropriate dental work for their profession. Right up there with camels and the gelada monkey. It's almost divine intervention that a lawnmower with limbs has a stronger bite force than lions, hyenas, and even a grizzly bear. And if you watch gorilla ASMR, you can literally see the muscles attached to the crest.
Yo, okay. That just reminded me. Gorillas be making the funniest like faces because they really do just look like somebody that's just chilling. Like, let me run this back. Like, he really just chilling with it. What is he eating a pepper? They really just
a grizzly bear. And if you watch gorilla ASMR, you can literally see
like he like, yo, what's up, my boy? He said, what's up, my boy? I'm just chilling, eating. You want some?
The muscles attached to the
this shit tastes good.
That crest is why the gorilla has a built-in mohawk. Lucky for literally everybody, gorillas only use those vice grip jaws to crush about 40 pounds of food a day. And you'll never be more grateful for their grocery list until you watch one peel a tree like a banana. All that food would mean nothing if they didn't also have a host of gut bacteria to help break it all down. But because all that bacterial work also produces gas, gorillas are almost in a perpetual state of flatulence.
Oh, they just be farting?
IBS apes break more wind than a bloated beached whale.
They be pooping. human. They poots probably be louder than them bubble beam chest pounds.
Scientists even used a gorilla-coded camera to gain insight into the secret society of this steroid simian. And what they found was that a well-fed family could blow a hole through the ozone layer.
Oh my god.
And out both ends. According to late gorilla expert Diane Fossey, gorillas burp as an act of goodwill and contentment. And you know, in some cultures, letting it out the attic is considered a compliment, but they might as well have gotten it from a knuckle-walking cow ape. On a less audibly offensive note, gorillas have also been recorded singing while they eat. Researchers refer to it as a chorus of appreciation. It's pretty cool, check it out.
They be doing that when them leaves be tasting good, I guess. That shit bussin'.
Basically living in their version of a giant gingerbread house has gorilla gangs singing out both ends. It's also a fact that they sing louder when eating their favorite foods. Like
yup, see look, I called it.
The funniest thing is, in the wild, the lead singer is actually the silverback. Science says he uses singing, or well, more like humming, to tell the group when it's time to stop and eat. And you know the law, when silverback speaks, everyone listens, and when he sings, it's time for fixings. But I'm not hungry.
Okay.
Okay, jeez. It makes sense. Few things are more dominant than the lead singer.
Yo, oh my god!
You know he's the one
just gripped him up.
Making all the decisions for a troop of up to and sometimes over 30. One could.
You said, how would you name a water type gorilla though? I feel like there's ways you can figure it out, right? Like okay, because like sometimes it really depends on how you go about it. Because sometimes you mix a trait of whatever type it is with a word for whatever that creature is, right? So like one thought that immediately comes to mind is tepid, right? Because the word tepid and then the word pig, right? Or like how when they evolve, it's Embor because ember, fire, but then boar because, you know, a pig turned into a boar. Like, so we just gotta think of something like that. Why is standing like that? Yo, look at his face. He's like, I'm standing firm. Y'all ladies like this? I'm the strongest gorilla in the pack. Come on over, I'm gonna give you a little smooth. But yeah, look, like, we gotta think of just a water term that can flow well with Florilla. Florilla! Florilla! Right? Florilla? Hey, yo, Pokemon Company, Nintendo, go ahead and cut me a check. Cut me a check. Cause I just gave y'all an easy new Pokemon. Get a water type gorilla named Florilla. That's too close to Florida. You can't make that. That ain't a good enough excuse. Look, Florilla. That's a great Pokemon name. Water poison gorilla that be farting. Yo, that's a nice pull right there. That's a nice pull. Sounds like a rapper name. Glorilla. It's 7 p.m. Friday. It's 95 degrees. Let's see. Would it be a monkey that evolves into a glorilla? Oh my god, I'm sorry. Would it be a water monkey that turns into a water gorilla? What would the monkey be? That one might be a little bit harder. What ape? What? Big ape? It's gonna be a single stage Mondamir. It could be, but I feel like it could at least be a two evolution. Bakey? No, because that sounds like some like you're baking food in the oven. Like that's what I think. Watkey? I don't know. I feel like that's too simple. Like it's gotta flow well. Spritz ape? We already got water monkeys? Do we? Is there water monkeys? Water type. Oh, we do Pampor. Oh yeah. I had to look it up. Pampor is a water monkey, so there is that. But no, we gotta think of something else though. It's gotta be something that can flow into the Florilla. I don't know what we would name a water monkey before Florilla though. And let's just get back to the video.
Say that is the peak male form. And you remember that painfully ironic thing I promised? Well, it's about that time, but before you judge me, I'm just gonna remind you that this is strictly educational. But I would feel weird if I didn't say this. So if you're a child, an adult with a child, or an adult who thinks they're a child, skip to this timestamp right here. Or don't, I can't stop you, but don't let your parents blame you if you don't. Here's an ad while you consider the cost of curiosity. So, fun fact about a silverback, they're the largest apes in the world, can weigh in the neighborhood of 500 pounds, and when they're private stand at attention, they're about 3/4 short of 2 inches.
Damn!
They don't just have the smallest waist snake of any ape, it's widely believed gorillas have the smallest member of any mammal relative to body size.
Damn! They said gorillas, they rocking that freaking, that tater tot on hard. They got the tater tot on hard. When they not brick, we got a gumdrop. They're cooked. They really just be compensating when they beating their chest. How they be fucking look, hi Nari. How they be look, they probably just really gotta gorilla grip it. The female gorillas got the gorilla grip for a reason. They gotta grip that shit so it don't freaking pop out. I don't know what they be doing, but I'm concerned. It'd be the size of the average male. That's why you can fuck King Kong. Oh, so whatever that white lady was in King Kong, I don't know her name. She was okay with King Kong because he had the average size person. If they could touch that thing, they probably flicking it like a beach. Okay.
King Kong ain't got on me.
I promise you he doesn't. In fact, if we scaled for size, you have a better chance at Subway of seeing a foot long than from a Giga Kong. I swear I'm not just using this for richer jokes. There's actually a reason gorillas ended up hung like a hamster. When you look at how all the great apes measure up, you'll 1, end up on a list, incognito can't save you, but 2, you'll realize humans have more appendical advantages.
Hey!
How's it going?
What the hell? That clip was crazy.
About the same.
I was like, what are we showing on YouTube?
Believe it or not, it's a direct reflection of how they live. Chimpanzees.
Oh my god! Wait, was that a size chart?
Can mate with multiple.
Was that a size chart? Man, that clip had me scared, bruh. This is they inches. The gorilla is smaller than this that crazy one from the Planet of the Apes movies. Oh nah, the orangutan packet. You see that face he making? This orangutan. No wonder they usually be the best characters in the movies, because they know they freaking they slinging that pole. It's a tiny pole, but it's a pole. Oh my god.
Of how they live. Chimpanzees live in polyandrous packs where females
now I never
males. So
these nasty ass booties
develop heavy huevos, since the more baby batter one can produce, the better chances one of his little swimmers wins the race to reality, which led to chimps having a massive man purse. I feel dirty.
Wait, what?
It's believed that earlier.
Wait, run that back. What was he talking about?
It's a direct reflection of how they live. Chimpanzees live in polyandrous packs where females can mate with multiple males, so there was evolutionary pressure for them to develop heavy huevos, since the more baby batter one can produce, the better chances one of his little swimmers wins the race to reality, which led to chimps having a massive man purse. I feel
nah.
With humans, it's believed that earlier variants may have selected for the more groinally gifted, especially with humans being—
They was going for the big nut sacks.
Eventually, that led to humans having more to flex under the waistband than just 9mm. But with gorillas, it's different. They often live in harems where all the females in a group practice their multiplication tables with the one silver.
This is for all those anime fans who love, all them isekais where they those isekais where they're like this OP main character protagonist surrounded by women. Maybe you should just be reincarnated to a gorilla. You'll get the same result.
pressure of dealing with other males like chimps, or even the pressure of females having a choice like humans. Also, another theory is that a larger Nixon might have helped shovel out rival Nectar. Again, something a back of silver doesn't have to worry about. It actually ties back to the chest beating. Being an absolute unit was already so much of a flex that evolution didn't have to juice their stats in other ways. But unfortunately, it means gorillas are more like an anti-steroid ad. But also consider this, silverbacks are the embodiment of what podcast bros call an alpha male. If humans were truly meant to take cues from them, forget Snickers, we'd be packing a Skittle. And with that, I am going to power wash my search history. Also, silverbacks aren't the aggressive jocks that movies made them out to be. Turns out, they're a lot more involved in raising children than we thought. Research actually shows that if a gorilla were to lose its
they're excellent fathers.
Still isn't living off her milk, they'd still have an equal shot at surviving. It's because silverbacks don't give child support, they are the child support. It's even been proven that gorillas are more attracted to the sensitive, child-nurturing males and not really the aggressive bully types, which is probably why they put up with so much disrespect.
That time I got reincarnated as a gorilla. Yeah, we need to see it.
Right, remember,
Japan, get to work.
A child fell into a gorilla enclosure, crazy how often that happens, and 400-pound Yumbo went over and tried to comfort the
said, "Hey, you alright?"
boy. Even when the boy came to and understandably panicked, instead of wilding out at the sudden disturbance, Yumbo calmly guided the other gorilla to the corner of the enclosure.
The way he like looked back, hold on, he was, because first he was like,
fell into a gorilla enclosure.
He was like, "Yo, you alright, bro?"
And 400-pound Yumbo went over and tried to comfort the unconscious boy.
And then whenever he was knocked out and woke up, he's like, "Oh shit, hey yo!"
At the sudden disturbance,
hey yo, he waking up.
The other gorillas to a corner of the enclosure while first responders rescued the boy. Ironically, this was during a time the majority thought gorillas were bloodthirsty savages patrolling the underbrush of Africa. That literally could not have been further from the truth. In fact, it led to one of the most infuriating arguments I keep letting myself get baited into.
He knows what happened to Ramba. He said, "Yeah, let me go over here before I get shot."
You don't know gorillas, and you really don't know grizzlies. Forget bears, there's cases of leopards causing problems for a plus-size primate, with records finding past tense gorillas with puncture wounds around the head and neck. Now, leopard attacks on a full-grown male are rare. But if a 150-pound big cat is a genuine threat, a 10-foot, 900-pound revenant plot device would slaughter a roid monkey. And really, the more you think about it, the more disrespectful the question is. Y'all stay playing on a grizzly's body. Especially since the gorilla himself wouldn't even want that smoke. For all that bulk, they'd definitely rather run away than run a fade. Imagine thinking they can match up with a grizzly when gorillas can get humbled by a change in weather. And I just love that gorillas in captivity and in the wild have no problems playing in the water. But when it falls out the sky, it's suddenly unacceptable. Also, I don't know if you've seen that corgi that gave its owner a heart attack until she realized the only victim was a jar of jam.
Lord,
might have done the same to
that dog was laid out. That shit really did. I was wondering if we really showing dead dogs on the, but I was like, nah, that's got to be like jelly or something, right? You see how they laid out their little legs? Oh no! Oh my god! Like they look like they just got massacred. Oh, that's so cute though. Oh my god.
I don't know if you've seen that corgi that gave its owner a heart attack until she realized the only
They're
victim
so
was
cute.
a jar of jam. Turns out gorillas might have done the same to early explorers. One could only imagine seeing the blood-soaked fangs of this behemoth up close, only to realize gorillas
that shit's black.
That lid off, it looks black.
It is black.
God!
Both of them.
Sick! Sick! It's black!
In their diet, and for reference, tannins are the same ingredient that makes coffee bitter. And I think that's just gorillas in a nutshell. They look like they could do an absolute number on the human population, but I could not find one verified case of a gorilla murking a person. Attempts may have been made.
That's interesting.
If you watch this video, you know she basically begged for it. Plus, it's captivity. In the wild, you actively have to try
gorillas really just be chilling.
They genuinely give you every.
The only time you gonna get packed up by a gorilla is if you do that dude from Tarzan that was trying to kill him and hunt him. Now Kerchak would have fucked him up, but Gravity and Vines, they already got rid of that dude.
Every possible warning before they do. And even if you ignore the chest beat, the flashing teeth, and all the other signs a gorilla might give you, usually the most they'll ever do is bluff charge. Now let me not be ridiculous.
When they run at the glass, that's so crazy to do.
And for all I'm talking, a bluff charge from a gorilla would have my soul pump faking the higher power. But gorillas got stuck with the monster label, which means it distracted people from the fact that they're the most unserious animals on earth. What do I mean?
That's so crazy. Imagine just spitting out. He said, "Nah, back up. It's my shit."
Hauko is a proud father of 4 who loves nothing more than to play with his children. Problem is, sometimes his mate isn't too eager to let him rock with such a small baby, so in all of Hauko's infinite wisdom, he came up with a solution. He f***ing kidnapped her. Repeatedly. And yes, he did this with all his children, proving it really is a game to him. I'm sorry, you can't, you're telling me I'm supposed to be afraid of this? This is chronically unserious.
That is so goofy.
But not unsurprising. Gorillas have a genuine sense of humor. Had Mary and Cooper have known,
that's why, like,
had a different
yeah,
story.
sometimes they be doing stuff like this, and then you just see them laugh after, because they really just be trying to mess with people. It like just like with the dolphin video, the dolphin videos, dolphins, they mess with people in the wrong ways. Gorillas, they just be doing a little goof and then laughing it off, because they know everybody gonna be alright, you know.
Line. Like Exhibit B, watch enough gorilla videos and you'll notice they have an interesting habit of grenading, as in they'll throw something and immediately run away.
They just roll it ass.
You could argue it's a territorial, non-verbal way to tell humans to F off, but that goes against my narrative, so I disregard it. Also, they've done it so many times exactly like this, it's like
they go yeet and they just start running.
And if you need more proof, Coco, the sign language speaking gorilla, once tied her caretaker's shoelaces together and then signed the word chase. Now I know there's
that's crazy
as to whether Coco actually learned sign language or was just a master mimic that learned sign language the same way dogs learn words like sit. There's a much more nuanced conversation to be had on whether Coco was a genuine case of comprehension or just
the dolphins are actually evil. The gorillas, they just funny.
That's not why I'm mentioning her here. It's because she was involved in one of the most absurd lawsuits I've ever read. In 2005, 3 female former staff members filed a lawsuit against the Gorilla Foundation because allegedly Coco was demanding that the workers flash her, and no, I do not mean with lights. According to Nancy Alperin and Kendra Keller, program director Francine Patterson told them that Coco had an obsession of the mammary variety and pressured them to expose their upper halves to the gorilla, even implying that they're—
Yo, what was their name? Coco? Coco want titties! Coco want titties? What? There are at least 3 visits the suit says Patterson communicated to Alperin that exposing one's blank breasts to Coco is a normal component to developing a personal bond with the gorilla? What? He's just like B minus the court case? Oh my god. Coco wants some titties.
Jobs would be in danger if they refused. They refused. And some of the quotes that will come out of this suit are almost too ridiculous to be real. And apparently Coco did not discriminate.
What did that say? One example. On at least 2 incidents in mid to late June 2004, Patterson intensely pressured Keller to expose herself to Coco while they were working outside where other employees could potentially view Keller's naked body. On one such occasion, Patterson said, "Coco, you see my nipples all the— Hello?" You're probably bored with my— You need to see new— I will turn my back so Kendra can show you her— Who said this? You need to get out of here. You need to be in prison. What? Nah, look, y'all. Ain't no way Coco was— I think what probably happened is they probably like doing that, and they started trying to egg other people to do it or something, because ain't no way this gorilla had nipple addiction. Coco related to Diddy. Exactly. That's how they were saying Coco was in the cage going like—
Suit are almost too ridiculous to be real. And apparently Coco did not discriminate, with one man recounting a time Coco went up to him and demanded to see his human headlights at a party, no less.
Oh, wow.
He didn't say no. He said later, and according to him, Patterson put an arm around him and basically hit him with the, "Do you really want to say no to her?" There were
So Coco want man nipples too.
other complaints like unpaid overtime, dangerous work environment, them apparently storing gorilla urine in the same fridge they ate out of, but none as outrageous as a 350-pound bosom bandit. Especially when you find out Patterson would switch up majorly when big-time donors came around. What do I mean? Well, apparently whenever Coco would make one of her requests in front of a possible benefactor, Patterson would just say, oh, you know, nipple sounds like people. So what she's really saying is she wants to see more people. Yeah, they should have read the verdict right there, because who even lies like that? I don't think that's how sign language works. The case was settled at, of course, so I guess we'll never know, but to be fair, how would multiple people lie about something like that? It means gorillas are the only animals.
I have no comment on that situation.
It also proves that gorillas are just like us. They can multitask and focus on two things at once. I mean, they only share 98% of our DNA, and for the loud minority,
we all squint.
Yeah. Make it racist, because you know I read the comments. I challenge you to spend a day watching a gorilla and tell me it's not an impulsive human in a fursuit. Like I bet half y'all didn't even realize that's a gorilla walking in the background. Yeah, this was a pretty unserious video.
Yo, this gorilla throwing it back.
But the point was,
yo, yo, run that back. That gorilla was throwing it back. Hey, yo.
Background. Yeah, this was a pretty unserious.
Hey, twerk team.
Creature, but the point wasn't really to Disneyfy a wild animal. That's arguably as bad as
oh my god.
Monsters. But there is so much more.
Yeah, somebody look. I think that was probably the look. I guarantee you, one day somebody there was probably some girls in front of the glass doing some twerk team, and they were sitting there watching it like, ooh, I gotta try that. I gotta try that too. Hold on, let me see something. Cause ain't no way. Rilla with the yams? Yeah, that was Florilla.
Army, and I kind of wanted to show that. Especially when you realize gorillas have been getting slaughtered for as long as we've known about them. For bushmeat, for trophies, pets, and sometimes just for sport. So us calling them dangerous is kind of wild. But I get it. Talk is cheap when it's in front of a green screen. So if this video gets 200,000 likes, I will meet a gorilla in person. Somewhere. Or an orangutan.
See, that ain't as bad as going in the water with the whale.
Never smile at a gorilla. Fun fact, clearing your throat sends a much better message. And I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.
Okay, all right. But that was the gorilla. Gorilla? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I freaking, that's like what the second time I said Glorilla instead of gorilla. Look, I promise. Look, I love me some Glorilla. I apologize. Okay, and shout out to Florilla. Yeah, Glow. But alrighty, that was it for now.